Jimbo's Garage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Jimbo's Garage. Well, we're on the final phase of the shop transformation number 2. Last thing I have to do is get this lathe table moved over here into this corner. But before we do that, we've got a few things we've got to do. One of them is I'm going to remove the wood lathe here. I just don't use it that often. I'm going to take it off because this part of the table is going to be up against the wall anyway. I'm going to store it just in case I do need to use it. I'll be able to bring it out and attach it to one of my tables and use it then. The next thing is we're going to have to relocate the portaband. It now needs to go on this side over here. And what's going to entail that is also the foot switches I'm going to need to take off and get all that moved over to weld. So it's not just unbolting it and moving it over. There's a lot more that has to happen to get that done. The little girl bench grinder over there, I'll get that taken off and put it on the welding table. And the final thing is to disconnect all this electrical that I had put in the last shop transformation. If you guys didn't see that video, I'll put a link in that description for that video. But then there was a lot of work that went into this. But anyways, that's all going to get disconnected, and then we're finally going to be able to move this thing over. So let's get started on the last transformation. Take the little 6-inch bench grinder off here. You know, I only had it mounted with a couple of 1/4-inch bolts, and that's all it really needed. I bought this thing and put some polishing wheels on it at one time, and I don't really use it that much, so I'll find a place for it a little bit later on. But the biggest task at hand here is getting this portaband moved to the front of the table for now. You know, I'm not really happy with this location to the front side of the table, but it's something that I have to do right now. It's not giving me a lot of room to do any cutting with any larger material. I'm up against the lathe, and then I'm up against the air compressor on the other side, so not the most desirable location for it. I'll figure out a different place for it later, but for now, I just needed to get this part of it done. And it wasn't just, unbolting it and moving it to the front. It was moving the foot pedal, and it was rerunning all the wire and getting everything hooked up again, which was a little bit of a hassle. You know, this is some 1/8-inch wall thickness on this 2.5-inch square tube. So, you know, pre-drilling the holes and putting the self-tapping screws in there, and then the cable holders right there, getting those things put on. A little bit of a challenge. Took a little bit of time, but it's just something that I had to get done. And ultimately, got everything buttoned up, got the cover on it, and it's all good. So the final thing I had to do was to just drill some holes in the front part of the table right there and get it mounted. And knowing this is only going to be a temporary spot for it, but I needed to get it done anyways. All right, so next step was to remove the wood lathe. Again, I just had it held down with a couple of 1/4-inch bolts as well. And that was easy enough to get out of the way, just unbolt it. And, that thing is heavier than I thought, close to 100 pounds. Anyways, got that moved out of the way. And now I just need to get the wiring done, and we'll be in good shape. The first thing I want to do is be sure the power's off. And I took my electrical tester here and checked both the 110 and the 220 there. And then took the faceplate off the outlet and then double checked it again with another electrical tester. And everything was green, everything was good to go. So I just started disconnecting everything. Got it undone there, and up at the top of the connection where everything was all connected, I just pulled it apart, and I had to reconnect the 110 power line. You can see it coming in over the garage there, then goes across to the other side of the shop. I just reconnected those with some wire nuts, got that part of it done, and then I just cut off the number 8s. Put some wire nuts on that, and you just never know if I'm going to use this outlet box again for any reason. I thought this would be the best way to do it. Just got everything all buttoned back up and put the flat plate cover on it, and we're good to go. All right, so the last thing to do is to get it moved over into its new home up against the wall right there. You know, I'm glad I got the forklift here. This table is really heavy, and would never been able to move it by myself. This forklift worked out really good. And that's another thing, working with by yourself right here. I was just trying to ease the forklift forward just far enough to get the forks underneath the bottom of the table so I wouldn't run the forks through the wall. And got everything lifted up and got it moved into position. That worked out really well. All right, well, there it is. The shop transformation 2 is complete. I've got everything cleared out of the way. Everything is put where it needs to be, and I've got the path cleared for what's coming next, which is going to be arriving in the next few days. I hope you guys enjoyed this series of videos. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. Check out my website at JIMBO'sGarage.com. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.
See you next time on Jimbo's Garage.